Welcome. I am Jane Cook and I am a member of St. Stephen Lutheran Church, Stowe, Ohio. I will be giving you information about your technology needs for the Synod Assembly. The remote Synod Assembly this year means that there are several new issues to be considered for participation in the Assembly. These include the need for having online internet connections and using some pieces of software that are needed for voting. You must be able to connect to both the Zoom meeting and connect to the voting software, and also receive email messages during the assembly. Let me repeat that. You must be able to connect to both the Zoom meeting and connect to the voting software, and also receive email messages during the assembly. If you do not have a personal device which is capable of opening a web browser and or downloading Turning Point and Zoom apps, and cannot receive email messages regarding voting instructions in real time, you may certainly borrow a device to do so. However, you must be able to meet the technological requirements during the meeting to participate in the virtual assembly. Please also see the appropriate other videos and instructions for more details. Please make certain that the email address and phone number you supplied for registration are the ones that you will be able to use during the assembly. As a voting member, you will be receiving confirmation messages that you are properly signed up. If you don't receive these confirmation messages by September 8th, confirming both your registration for Zoom and your credentials for Turning Point voting, contact assembly@neos-elca.org. It is possible to do this with a single device and using two applications, Zoom meetings and Turning Technologies Turning Point voting software, either via apps on smartphones or via web pages within a browser. Regardless of format, do remember that you will be looking at a screen for an extended period of time, including making voting selections from a displayed list of candidates. So, screen size and clarity should be considered. There are some issues with full participation in the experience of the assembly and with a minimal configuration and using both two required operations on a single device. So this video will discuss those limitations and include a recommendation for broader consideration. The Synod will be live streaming video from the Knight Center via the Synod's YouTube site, or embedded video on the Synod website. We recommend that, if possible, voting members watch the live stream on a separate device, as it will offer the best quality and provide the best access to both pre-recorded and live materials, including the speeches and questions and answers during the bishop election process and the worship services. If people are comfortable doing so, we suggest that congregations with the capability to do this could host a live stream projection of the assembly for their voting members and for anyone else who may be interested, thus allowing the individual voting members to use their own devices for other applications. Also, if a congregation has connection capability that an individual does not have in their home, either because of internet or device limitations, the availability of congregational resources for meeting connection and voting could enable some people to participate as voting members who would otherwise have limitations or concerns, although this must be balanced with safety considerations. If sufficient resources are available at individual locations where voting members are present, we suggest that keeping a live stream open on one device and using another device or devices for other purposes might give the best audio-visual experience of the assembly. but this is not required, and watching the live stream feed is not mandatory. Both Zoom and Turning Point have the ability to connect via a website or via apps on an Android or iOS devices, such as many tablets and smartphones. Since they can be connected simultaneously and will not both be used at the same time, only one device would be necessary for these purposes. There are separate videos on how to use these applications. We urge you to download them and become familiar with their use before the assembly. The Turning software will be used for recording votes, so this is very important. Each voting member will receive an individual identification number to log into the software to provide individual security and ability to vote. Another video will give more details on how to vote through Turning, but you should be aware that there are some differences in voting for general votes on motions, regular elections, and the later votes for bishop, which will be done through a simple process similar to that used in prior years with voting machines, a simple selection from multiple choice. However, the first ballot for bishop, which will mean entering enough information to uniquely identify a currently rostered ELCA minister of Word and Sacrament, would be last name, first name, and description of current call location. The second ballot for bishop, which will involve entering a numeric code corresponding to the name of the nominee as it appears on a separate list, which will be furnished to voting members via email after the first ballot. In accordance with rules in the governing documents, names will be assigned to numbers in descending order of first ballot votes received, then in alphabetical order at each vote level. The Turning app will be used several times, but only during limited periods during the assembly. This should make it possible for you to share a device with the Zoom meeting. Zoom is required for several reasons of varying individual importance. First, to meet the legal definitions of a meeting, everyone who attends as a voting member must have the ability to speak, either to ask questions or to make appropriate motions. Zoom is our method for doing that. Second, to be able to legally vote, a member must, quote, be in the room, that is, online, when the vote is taken. The Zoom connection provides that proof for verification by the Credentials Committee. This is one reason that each voting member must be registered with a separate email address for verification purposes. Third, for those who are not simultaneously watching the live stream, the Zoom feed will provide audio-visual access to the official presentation, since the Spotlight feed on Zoom and the live stream feed will be integrated. So this provides some information about the software. There are other videos that provide more specific details about that. What does this mean in terms of hardware requirements and internet connections are needed? Most modern internet provider connections offer adequate download speed for devices, although some lower speed connections may be a problem. If you are concerned, you can search for Internet Speed Test in your browser, or you can choose to visit the Synod website at neos-elca.org. Go to Assembly for more information. This is a brief overview. We encourage congregation with members who are technology proficient to offer help to their members or members of neighboring congregations who may also need assistance. The Synod is establishing a number of help volunteers who will be available both before and during the assembly to assist with any issues that may arise. More information on that will be forthcoming as the assembly approaches. At this time, if you have questions or need assistance, please email assembly@neos-elca.org.